We have the Philadelphia Eagles flying high coming into this season are headed to Foxborough in Week 1 to take on the New England Patriots. The Eagles last season finished with a 14-3 regular season record for first place in the NFC and a trip to the Super Bowl. The Eagles were one quarter away from winning the Super Bowl last season. The Patriots, on the other hand, last season didn't make the playoffs and the team seemed to be in constant turmoil within the organization. The Patriots finished with an 8-9 record and third place in the AFC East division last season. Both quarterbacks coming into this season still have a lot to prove. Many football analysts believe Jalen's season last year was a fluke, and he needs the perfect team around him for him to be successful. Mac Jones had a breakout rookie season and even made the playoffs, but in his second year in the league last season, he oftentimes looked like a deer in headlights and almost lost his starting position to Bailey Zappi. As we dive into this game preview for this Week 1 matchup, stay tuned as we will be giving the panel's score prediction towards the end. We start with the Philadelphia Eagles offense last season and their offseason additions coming into the 2023 season. Let's start with the face of the franchise, Jalen Hurts. Last season, Jalen had a passer rating of 101 with 3,711 passing yards, 22 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions in 15 games. Hurts also added a total of 760 rushing yards and 13 rushing touchdowns to finish the season with over 4,400 total yards and 35 total touchdowns. Very few players were more successful in 2022 than Philadelphia Eagles quarterback Jalen Hurts. He had a breakout season as a passer and was an inner circle MVP candidate for basically the entire season. Jalen led the Eagles to the #1 seed in the NFC and an appearance in the Super Bowl, where despite the loss, Jalen played one of the best games of his career. This Eagles offense makes it very difficult to identify a weakness on this team because on paper, the Eagles have the best offensive line in the game. Philadelphia's big men up front earned another accolade on Tuesday, earning the top spot on PFF's 2023 offensive line rankings. At the skills position, wide receiver, Devonta Smith and A.J. Brown are battling for the top spot in best wide receiver tandems. The Eagles went 7 seasons without a wide receiver reaching 1,000 yards. Last season, they had 2. Even more exciting for the organization. Brown is 25 and Smith is 24. Brown finished last season with 88 catches for 1,496 yards and 11 touchdowns, all career highs, then played to the level expected when the Eagles gave him a 4-year, $100 million contract extension that placed him among the highest paid receivers in the game. But Brown's brilliance didn't overshadow the development of Smith, who followed a promising rookie campaign with 95 catches for 1,196 yards and 7 touchdowns. The biggest difference on the Eagles' offense this upcoming season will be the loss of Miles Sanders. He signed with the Carolina Panthers for a 4-year deal worth $25 million. Sanders was explosive in Philly's offense last season. He finished with the 5th most rushing yards among running backs at 1,269 and 11 rushing touchdowns. The Eagles decided to replace Sanders by a running back committee as they added Rashad Penny and DeAndre Swift. The Eagles will likely rotate Rashad Penny, DeAndre Swift, and Kenneth Gainwell in the backfield to keep them all fresh. As loaded as this Eagles offense is, they are expected to have their hands full as they face one of the best defensive coaches of all time in Bill Belichick. Let's switch over to the Patriots defense now. The Patriots ranked 8th in total defense and 10th in scoring defense during the 2022 season. The Patriots defense maintained its elite form under head coach Bill Belichick in 2022, finishing the season ranked 2nd in takeaways, with Thaddeus tied for 3rd in sacks with 54. Most impressively, New England tallied a single-season franchise record defensive touchdowns last season. While it's unreasonable to expect a repeat in the number of defensive scores, there's no reason to believe New England will not once again have an elite defense in 2023. A big focus for the Patriots defense last year was improving their run defense. Over their final 8 games of last season, the Patriots allowed just 88.4 rushing yards per game, with the opponent only getting over the century mark twice. Coming into this season, expect that to continue. Overall, the Patriots finished the season allowing just 4.1 yards per carry, which ranked 4th in the league. The Patriots linebacker group was their best positional room in 2022, from top to bottom. Let's start at the top. This was another big year for Matthew Judon, who is the Patriots' alone Pro Bowl participant in 2022. The Patriots' cornerback room coming into this season is very questionable, with Jack Jones dealing with off-the-field legal matters leaving his season questionable if he will even play. The Patriots did draft cornerback Christian Gonzalez with the 17th overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft. He was projected as the top corner on a lot of draft board, but even so, that is still a lot of pressure to put on a rookie. The Eagles on offense versus the Patriots defense will be the most competitive matchup. The issue for the Patriots will be their offense versus this Eagles defense. The Patriots went from being the 6th ranked offense in 2021 at 27.2 points per game to 17th in 2022 at 21.4 points per game. That 2022 number is also inflated by the Patriots' NFL best 8 non-offensive touchdowns. There are a multitude of reasons why the offense struggled last season, from play design, play calling, quarterback play, inconsistent receiver separation and spacing, and a struggling offensive line. Let's not even get into the drama between Mac Jones and the Patriots coaching staff. The offensive setup last season did Mac Jones very few favors, and it showed in 14 games. This year, Jones completed 65.2% of his passes for 2,997 yards with 14 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. That was a noticeable step back from last season statistically. Last season, the Patriots relied heavily on their running game, specifically Ramondre Stevenson. Stevenson had one of the best single seasons for a Patriots running back in the Bill Belichick era. He was the focal point of the offense for most of the season, putting up some unprecedented numbers. Stevenson was on the field for 66.4% of the Patriots' total offensive snaps. That's the most by a running back, by a wide margin going back to 2012. Coming into this season, look for this trend to continue as the Patriots missed out on wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, who decided to sign with the Tennessee Titans. Although the Patriots missed out on Hopkins, they were able to pick up tight end Mike Gesicki from the Miami Dolphins. Gesicki will pair with veteran Hunter Henry as the new 1-2 combination at tight end, with the team hoping it gets better results from the tandem than it did with the Henry-Jonnu Smith duo. The Patriots also reached an agreement with Juju Smith-Schuster this offseason on a 3-year, $33 million deal with $22.5 million earned over the first 2 years of the contract. Juju, at 6'1", 215 pounds, now joins the Patriots wide receiver room that already includes a big boundary target in Devontae Parker at 6'3", 219 pounds, a burner with the potential to further develop as a route runner in Tyquan Thornton, and a high-energy slot in Kendrick Bourne. Smith-Schuster fits best as a physical slot presence, with the ability to line up at other spots as well. While the Patriots' offense is projected to be much improved coming into this season, will they be ready for the Eagles' defense, which is projected to be elite? Last season, the Eagles' defense was number 2 in the NFL and number 1 in pass defense. The defensive front helped produce 70 sacks, as the Eagles became the first team in NFL history with 4 players getting double-digit sack numbers. During this offseason, the Eagles lost defensive coordinator Jonathan Gannon, now the head coach in Arizona, and 5 starters to free agency: Javon Hargrave, TJ Edwards, Kaiser White, CJ Gardner-Johnson, and Marcus Epps. To replace those losses, Philly decided to look toward the draft. The Philadelphia Eagles were among the biggest winners of the 2023 NFL Draft, but how does their defensive depth chart look ahead of what promises to be an exciting season? The Eagles traded up for Jalen Carter in the first round of the 2023 NFL Draft, ensuring a 4-year pairing comprised of 2 of the most dominant forces in recent college football memory. Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter tore opponents to shreds as teammates at Georgia, and they'll do the same in Philadelphia. Philly's depth on defense is what separates them from other teams in the NFL. They have arguably the best front 7 in the league, with players named such as Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Jalen Carter, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick, and Nolan Smith, to name a few. With all the attention the Eagles' front 7 rightfully deserves, it would be easy to underestimate their secondary. But they are just as elite. Darius Slay and James Bradbury is considered to be one of the best cornerback duos in the league. In fact, a new Pro Football Focus countdown says that the Eagles have the number 3 secondary in the NFL entering the 2023 season. Slay was dominant at times this past season and ultimately earned the 70th plus coverage grade of his career. The rest of the unit played consistently excellent football for most of the year. This secondary does have two big positions to fill after losing two safeties. The first safety is ball hawk C.J. Gardner-Johnson, and the second safety is durable and reliable Marcus Epps. There are question marks surrounding the players who will fill their positions this upcoming season. Let me know what your score predictions are in the comments section. The panel has the Eagles 27-17 over the New England Patriots. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe for more game previews every week. Stay tuned.